What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of My Team Career Mode. Today, we are here for the start of the Mexican Grand Prix here at the circuit Hermanos Rodriguez. So, it will be a dry race, and we need not worry about any wet weather setups. And as the regulation changes have kicked in, so we have to do some adaptation of our parts, and that is what we are doing here. And we are right now at the mid table of the R&D chart, so definitely we have improved a lot in the start of the season, and hopefully in the upcoming races also will be improving. So, here it is the stadium section of the Hermanos Rodriguez circuit, and hopefully in this race we'll be able to gain some points, as I will obviously going for some aggressive setup. So in the straight line speed we can just gain so much of speed, and because this is a high altitude circuit, so the air will be thin and it is very much necessary to have some more engine power. So this is our first Q1 lap, and this is the second lap after the banker lap which I had done earlier, and we go into P17. So definitely a lot of time is there on the table, and so I just again went for another push lap. And this time, and compared to a previous lap here, we are just gaining some time, but again losing some time also, so that is very unfortunate. But again in the final turn we can gain a lot of time, and we are almost 1 tenth upon previous lap, and we go into P13. So that is decent enough to go into Q2 session, and our teammate is in P10, so definitely he has some pace here at this Mexican Grand Prix. So in the Q2 I again make some changes and lower my front wing even more, so that I can get the much needed stability in the corners, because in the Q1 session I was facing some oversteer moments. So here in the Q2 session you can see we were P16 at the start, and this is my banker lap. So I just used the old set of tires which I used in the Q1, and we go into P13. So definitely a lot of time was there to improve, and I put on a new set of soft tires, and this time we improved by 3 tenths. As you can see here, we were just a bit hesitant in the second sector. We just made us lose a lot of time, and in the final sector also we were losing a lot of time, and that is not very necessary here, and still we go 3 tenths improvement and go into P11. So that is where we finish, and we were just at least 2 tenths short of our teammate P10. So we'll be staying in Q2 only, and we'll start from the P11 position here at the Mexican Grand Prix. And let's see what we can achieve in this race, because obviously this is not one of my favorite tracks, because I find this track quite a bit challenging. So here Lando Norris, Verstappen and Charles Leclerc will be starting the race in the top 3 of the grid, with Lance Stroll in the P4 position, and we will be starting at P10 and P11. So let's see, fire red lights and away we go for the start of the Mexican Grand Prix here at the circuit Hermanos Rodriguez. So you can see we just lost at least 3 or 4 positions, because obviously we were having some cold tires and we just couldn't get the much needed grip to just make a move. But still we have to just be persistent enough and just go try to make a move around the outside at this turn 1, and we just make a move. You can see here we were side by side with the Haas team, and the contact model of this game is resulted in just we being attached to each other. So that is not quite necessary here, but still we have to just be persistent and avoid making some damages here at the start of the lap 1 of this Mexican Grand Prix. And we just go down the inside of Schumacher to do the overtake, and that is very much necessary, because obviously if we can gain some much needed track positions at the earliest of the Grand Prix, it will be very good, because then only we can be able to use the freshness of our tires. And you can see Hamilton is just behind us, and he was just trying to go around the outside at this left hand, but he couldn't. But the Mercedes powertrain is definitely a thing to watch out for, and definitely they have some good R&D packages. That is why they are able to go in the straight line in front of us, and we make a move down the inside at this turn 1. Again this turn 1 turns into turn 2 and turn 3, so you need to have a good exit at the turn 1, so that you can just get the balance at the turn 2 and turn 3 of this circuit. And now we are behind our teammate Fernando Alonso, who is just about 2 tenths in front of us. So that is the reason we are trying to stay as close as possible to Alonso, so that we can get the DRS from him, and hopefully he can just drag along us in the further laps of this Grand Prix. So here at the stadium section I was thinking making a move down the outside at this turn, but yeah, we did gradually make that move, because obviously Alonso left enough of a room for us to make a move down the inside, and we made the move. So GG's to Alonso, and we also have a bit of oversteer movement at the exit of the turn, but still that doesn't matter, because in the straights you can see Alonso just romped past us. So now you can see Mercedes of Hamilton and Tsunoda are just behind us, and we make a move down the inside of the turn 1 on Alonso and make the most stick. So they are fighting quite hard behind us, and that is the reason why it is giving us a lot of opportunity to just break away from this train and go into the train of George Russell, who was just braking too early. Maybe someone in the front has some damage or some mechanical issues, that is why this train is going too slow. And I was thinking of making a move around the outside at this section of the sector 2, but we couldn't, as the George Russell definitely has some good traction, and in the corners also he's gaining too much of time. So now we have to play the patient game, and we have to just make for the opportunities count, and those opportunities will come at the right moment, and we will have to identify those right moments. So here at the stadium section I again made a move around the outside at the stadium cover and make the most take. So we go around the outside and make the most take on George Russell, and at the exit of the stadium section again we go down the inside at this turn, and we claim into P8 position. And in the next lap in the stadium section you can see we again made the move down the inside of, who is this, Sergio Perez, and from there we go around the outside at this curve and we just make the most stick. But Red Bull powertrain is just superior in straight line speed and he just overtakes us. And obviously Perez, it is his home ground, so he'll be having a thing or two to prove to his home crowd, and obviously he'll be high in spirit. So yeah, and there is a bit of contact between Russell and Perez, so it is quite a difficult thing here at the between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. So they're definitely creating a traffic block here, which is just not necessary here at this part of the Grand Prix. But still, it is what it is because it is 7 laps and we are almost 1/5 of the Grand Prix done. So we have to just be patient enough and not lose our front wing by colliding with the cars in front of us. And so we have to be careful, and you can see here they are just blocking the path and we are not able to overtake them nor able to make any progress by going around the outside at this turn. But yeah, it is what it is. It is hard racing and we have to accept the fact that it will not be smooth sailing for all the way, so we have to take that into consideration. And now we are just behind Sergio Perez here and we make a move down the inside at the stadium section ending, and we just claim into P8 position. But it will not be too long because I think Red Bull definitely will be overtaking us in the straight line speed, as you can see here. So definitely we are short in the straight line speed, and in the upcoming seasons also we have to definitely improve upon that. So you can see here, though the Red Bull is powerful in the straight line, but in the corners he's just parking the apex of the bus. So yeah, let's see. Again we just make a move down the inside of Alonso and now we are at P8 position. So I was checking for some vehicle condition and fortunately there was no damage and we were just lucky enough to survive, but still it was a minor collision, so no issues as we get a yellow flag. So I think someone is DNF here at this Mexican Grand Prix. Perez is definitely using his softest good advantage because he's making a move down the inside at this turn, but again in the stadium section we just go around the outside and we make the mistake. So we got a bit of damage at the front nose of the car, and you can see Cody's have definitely improved the game because earlier in the Canadian Grand Prix you can see that K-Mac did overtake us in the yellow flag, but here in the Mexican Grand Prix Sergio Perez did not overtake us in the yellow flag. So GG's to Cody's for just stopping that glitch. And talking about stopping, here you can see Gasly was who was in front of us. He made just a bit of lock up at the turn 1 of the Mexican Grand Prix, and that led Verstappen to just go through because Verstappen was in the cold tires because it was his outlap from the pits. But despite the fact, he just went ahead of Gasly because of that lockup. So definitely not a good day for the young Frenchman. As right now here at the lap 15 we just go into the pits because our tire wear is reaching at least 50%, so it was time to go for a set of hard tires. And let's see what we can achieve in this second stint, because in the first stint it was not as per I would liking because we were losing a bit of time in the corners, and maybe that is the effect of the lost downforce setup which we are running, and maybe that is the reason why we are just losing too much of time in the corners. But let's see what we can achieve in the second stint, as now Sergio Perez again overtakes us. So definitely it is his medium tire strategy, and because they are too superior, and I think if Verstappen wins in this Grand Prix he'll be crowned the world champion. So it is a tough fight between him and Charles Leclerc. So because in the previous 2 seasons it was Ferrari who were dominating and Charles Leclerc won both the title championships in the season 1 and season 2, and here in the season 3 I think Verstappen is just going for the hunt to win his first championship here in my team career. So here you can see here we just went purple in the second sector. So in the second sector we are definitely having some superior straight line speed, and we made a move down instead of Tsunoda and made the most stick. So now we are at P8 position, and now it is still at least 16 laps to go. But again Tsunoda, he just overtakes us in the straight and we have no answer for that because we do not have the ERS also to just fight for the position, and Tsunoda is again just parking his car right at the apex of the turn 2 and turn 3. But we make a move down inside at this turn 3 and make the move stick. So again we are at P8 position, but I don't know for how long we'll be able to maintain this position. Now you can see Joe Guan is out of the session. So a disappointing season I would say for the young Chinese driver, because I think this is his 4th or 5th DNF with this Aston Martin team. So definitely I think there will be some driver transfers in the upcoming season, and hopefully Aston Martin will definitely improve their reliability components. And we make a move down the inside of Hamilton. I think yes, we moved. So it was a different move I would say, because Hamilton was just pressurizing us from behind to just go for a move down the outside, but we just claimed onto the position. And now you can see here at the sector 2 we were again just covering off the apex and not letting Hamilton to go through easily, because definitely it will be his last season and I just want to fight with Hamilton, because obviously he will be retiring at the end of the season and it is not possible to just race with Hamilton in the upcoming races. And hopefully in the next Grand Prix at the Brazil we will be getting some more fireworks and action. So let's see what the next Grand Prix will be having in store for us. But right now here at this Grand Prix you can see in the 31st lap our teammate just overtakes us and we concede the P9 position. So hopefully Fernando Alonso can make the move and gain some more points for our team. So we are being a good teammate and letting Alonso just go through. But again you can see here in the turn 2 and turn 3 we were having some little bit of tire banging, which is decent enough I would say, because that was not anything mischievous because I just wanted to fight with our teammate so that he can also just improving his focus and pace, and definitely we are improving the R&D components and the facilities of our department so that we can improve the stats of our second driver. And so let's see what we can achieve, as Alonso is now 7.1 seconds ahead of us, and definitely we are losing some pace in the later parts of the Grand Prix. I don't know why, but the car was feeling very weird. There was no turn in and it was feeling very difficult to drive. Maybe this was because of the setup choices we made, and I think the low downforce setup definitely has proved to be costly for us, because now you can see we are struggling here at this first sector of the Mexican Grand Prix. And this is because of the fact that maybe our tire wear was too high, or probably something with doing with the aerodynamic section. That is where I think which is causing this much of concern, because the straight line speed was also dropping off, and maybe our engine was having some issues, I think, because you can see how easily the other competitors overtaking. Like, we are just standing there like a mobile chicane. I don't know what was happening with our car in the last 3 laps, and it was just a nightmare because everyone is just overtaking us and we did not have some engine power. And in the corners also, you can see we are facing so much of understeer. I don't know why suddenly this thing happened, as Verstappen wins here at the Mexican Grand Prix and probably he's crowned the world champion. So we'll be confirming that at the end of this race. And as you can see here, Schumacher, who was just trying to make a move around the outside, and can we able to maintain the position? Yes, we make a move down the inside and bars through. So definitely I was quite frustrated at this point of the race, because I don't know what was happening in the last 3-4 laps, and it was very nightmare, I would say, because I don't know, the pace was also lacking, and in the corners also there was so much of understeer. So I would say disappointing Grand Prix for us, Mexican Grand Prix, and it was a difficult track, and we finish in P14, and Esteban Ocon gets the driver of the day. So GG's to the Alpine team. As you can see here, Max Verstappen wins the World Drivers' Championship finally in the third season. So Charles Leclerc's dominance has been ended, and we finish in P14. Our teammate is in P9, so we got some points, but still there was a lot of points to claim, as our teammate is in P14 in the drivers and we are at P10, and we have a lot of scope to improve, and hopefully in the next season also we'll be improving them. And you can see here in the constructors, Red Bull claim a lead over Ferrari with 78 points, and we are at P6 position. So this was about the Mexican Grand Prix, and thank you guys for watching this video, and do like and hit subscribe this channel for daily F122 content, and we will meet you again at the next Grand Prix, which will also have a sprint race here at the Brazilian circuit. So till then, peace.